Hello, welcome to SudiTalks. And today's topic is about art of systems and how they really affect how literally almost everything you do. You may not clock it, but yet realize that systems actually really affect a lot of things you do. So let me give you my reasons on why I think that and how we can find in a way to dive in out of systems that are affecting yourself for your growth. If you talk about like for example systems are more of a fundamental way of growth that determines a lot of perspectives that I see. If you were in a system whereby, I'm going to put this in basing of countries, if you were in a system whereby your country or from a point of view, doesn't even matter need to be the country. A system doesn't even need to be based off what the government is doing, but more based off what you're fundamentally meant to see or do. For some people call it the matrix, all that thing. But I find that systems are more, the art of systems is more of what you do to, or what that thing does to help grow to a specific vision. So if you're more into a system whereby you're not seeing a lot of inventive stuff, a lot of stuff that are revolutionary, you can't compare that person to a person whose system is in or is in war, for example, because all they think about is going to be war related, because that's how their, excuse me, more of their systems are. So that's one of the things I see. And for example, we're going to talk about like stuff like, I'll say, topics that I've been saying that affects how someone really views a system. So for example, lack of creativity may be not in many places because of the system that they have. It's more of a system of war, a more of system of tradition. A tradition is not a bad thing, but more of a system that is outdated compared to a system whereby there's creativity. And when there's more of creativity, there's more innovation. And when there's more of innovation, there's more of progress. You can't compare someone's mind whereby their whole form of art of systems is best of movement, best of progression, despite it even that person being average. This can be seen in very many ways. Someone who is, for example, living in the UK, an average person living in the UK may have who, for example, how the Premier League is is in the UK. There are a lot of free parks where someone can easily train, and there's a lot of system based for that category of something like that. Compared to, for example, where I come from, Uganda, realistically, there are less parks for someone to do such a thing, and whereby that vision is seen as 0.00001%, even though that is already like that, but you can't compare it whereby the system is fundamentally accepting and there's a form of progress in that specific system. A system cannot be based off just, system can be affected by a lot of things. For example, your environment, your your people around you. As I talked about, this also leads to the same thing of art of subtraction and addition. And how you can break away from systems and how you can know a system is benefiting you is based off, even for example, someone's mindset. When someone's mindset is based off positivity, you can get to know that their system they were in, or their fundamental or their foundation, was based off something more of positivity, more of progressing, helping people. We can't compare it where someone's foundation or system was based off a form of negativity, a form of split of families, a form of bad governance around people. It's hard to compare two systems like that, but they can be under the same environment. That can be best. What I mean by same environment can be the same country, but because of, for example, levels of lifestyle, Even they can be on the same level, but just because of the system they're in. The systems can really affect how someone processes and sees their vision, for example, sees how they fundamentally do their things. And I believe that systems is what actually starts off someone's growth. So if you really want to change, for example, your form of life, you need to change the way you view a system and base off that system to a form of vision you want it to be like. If you have a vision of being, for example, a footballer, you have to create a system that is fundamentally developing you to be that, whatever you see. And it's only you that may be knowing how to do it, because you, if for example, you can buy a ball, I'm going to give an example of football because a lot of people can relate to that. And you find yourself, you can use that ball every day and train, for example, in a small variance of where you are. You're seeing that small space as a form of system that you're creating to be a bigger vision as you are, because now you've created a base of a system that is changing the form of transformation of your head, bringing a form of different frequency that can make you to be in a whole different dimension and make that system of yours be your fundamental growth. And this leads to more of yeah, practically more of growth. And we create a more system of ourselves to grow. If you don't have a system for yourself to grow, it's not good. But also at the same time, that doesn't also change that there are some people that affect the systems that we want to do. For example, I'm going to give in many perspectives in most African countries. The systems are limited for people to see a vision of growth, because they are limited for an average person, for example, having been limited to a form of mindset as to what they achieve. Yet, someone who is in a different variance of place can can be the same age group but view something in a different way. But the whole problem is just because of the system and the way they view the things. But if systems were more to balance and help people to grow, it would create a more of an innovative mind and a more of visionary, making the places to develop. And not only that, it makes the people around them to develop. Because if someone develops around that area, for example, or that person is a light basing of what they created as their own system, it will light upon a lot of things around them. As I usually say, you can be the bulb to what you want to achieve, and it's only you to be the switch to turn it on. And for you to make that bulb, you must have created a system for that electricity to go straight to that bulb. And it's only you that powers it on to view that form of variance of system you want to achieve. So it's, if you want to grow or if you want to do whatever you want to do, create a form of system that creates a variance and frequency around yourself to help you reach that goal you want to achieve. Because if you don't create that form of system, then there's no variance of your growth. And that's the fundamental process of you varying to what you want to achieve. And so to do that, one of the other things I would say is find a way of creating a form of yourself to step outside your comfort zone. And when you step outside your comfort zone, you find yourself growing out of the variance of the system that your head has been fundamentally created through the circle it has at that form of point of view. Because if there's a small form of point of view around yourself, you find yourself that your system is not growing. And if your system is not growing, then there's no way you'll grow if you're not stepping outside that comfort zone. If you step outside that small circle you are in, you find yourself that there are bigger circles and the world is bigger than what you're just persevering it out of your mindset, because you've created now a new system that is unlocking the world to come and circle around what you want to achieve. As I always say, and I tell people, is that do you, and the world will create a form of world that varies a form of system close to the vision you want to achieve, because it's now attracting a form of system and fundamentally making a form of growth to your vision. Yeah.